Hello there. I want to share with you something that I've experienced these last couple of days. And as usual, I like to share my challenges with others in the hope that they will also receive an insight or understanding that they were missing too. And I think we can all learn and grow together in this process. And hence why it's really important for me to understand what I've learned so that I can share that with others. Now, the topic today is impatience. You may relate to this. Certainly in my life, I've felt an awful lot of impatience. It is very typical of someone who has this mentality of achievement, achieving, doing, producing, achieving. Someone who has ideas, who is very creative. So if that's you, then do listen to this. But also, if you are someone who experiences impatience, please be patient and listen to this message today. It's probably going to be worth your while. So what happened for me is, I have talked about this just previously in recent videos, but I have a new venture, a new project I'm doing. I also have a business I've been running quite successfully for a year now, officially. And with that comes the highs and lows of creating and building on processes and procedures and creating more established ways of doing things. And with that, hopefully, increasing my capacity and my influence along the way. Because, of course, if we have more influence and capacity in our lives, we have more feeling of fulfillment. So with this comes this feeling of impatience for me. Now, this is an energy, just like any emotion. It's an energy in motion, emotion. So this impatience is an energy in my life that I've experienced recently. Now, perhaps it's part of your programming too, to always be like 2 steps ahead, but never present in the moment. And this is something that I've worked on for a long time. I'm still in the process of getting better at being present. And what does being present really mean? Well, there's no such thing as time. So this is really just a concept to understand how we can be distracted by ideas of the past and the future. And that is essentially where fear lives. And so this feeling of impatience is absolutely an energy resulting from a way of thinking that you get caught out of and get caught up in these concepts of time, the past and the future, what you haven't achieved yet, what you want to achieve in the future, what you haven't got yet, what you want. All of these kind of ideas, they're thoughts that create fears or anxiety, fear of the future, and put this energy into your life. So it's certainly a cultural program. It's prolific in our culture, the high achiever, the doer, the producer, the achiever, and chasing this proverbial carrot, but never feeling satiated because tomorrow never comes. And so we, as achievers, we don't stop to celebrate the little wins. We, in fact, find it difficult to stop at all, to take a breather, to smell the roses. I'm sure you've heard that before. So at the moment in my life, I have been granted a lot of time and space this week. And the immediate thing that my old programming wants to do, my mind, is bring in this energy of impatience to fill the void. And what does impatience drive you to do? It's a program. It drives you to find something in the external world to be busy with. Busyness. And so I've been putting my external focus or effort on being busy for a moment there. I got caught up in this because I didn't like that feeling of impatience, that energy. I have, though, been aware that what I have done up to this point was very much in alignment. I've been learning to let go and surrender so that I can receive higher insights and direction for each step I take. But as I said, this is something that I'm honing my skill in. I'm not perfect at it at all. And so this allowed this space for impatience to come in. And now, thankfully, also to my practice of checking in regularly. whether I'm conscious or unconscious in each moment. And so I've actually just recently set up a little reminder in my phone calendar that comes up every hour. And that might be annoying for some people, but for me, it seems to work, where it just says, stop and be still. And so I immediately stop everything I'm doing and remember who I really am, which is pure loving awareness, having a human experience. I'm not the mind trying to control the external world, trying to do, produce, and achieve. I'm not the body, my vehicle as a human, as an avatar. I'm none of these things. So this reminder that pops up in my phone throughout the day is perfect right now for me. It allows me to stop, recognize how unconscious I'd gone into my mind, into my monkey mind, and to withdraw back into the true higher self that I am, the eternal awareness. And this brings you into a place of stillness, because when you are not the body or the mind, you recognize that you are an eternal awareness, consciousness. This is true consciousness. And so I'm grateful for this practice that I've brought into my day, into my life. And it's helping me to more hardwire in my neurology, my neural wiring, hardwire a new habit of being still and stopping throughout my day and checking in that I'm not getting caught up by the mind and its programming. But as I keep going back to this, energy of impatience did manage to creep in. And so these feelings that come with impatience, frustration. What is frustration? Anger. What is anger? These are two emotions that suggest that I feel powerless. There's something that I need in the external world that I think I need to be happy. It's a mind program. And if I don't have that, then I do not feel at peace. I feel frustrated. I feel angry. Likewise, this impatience brought in, this energy brought in this need to control, because it's very uncomfortable if you feel this anxiety or anxious or frustration or anger that you need something outside of you to be happy. It's very much a feeling that you've got to go out and then try and control that to bring it in. Once again, this is not our true self. This is the body and the mind trying to operate from the automaton programming. So all of this surfaces with this energy of impatience. And then this leads to this feeling of powerlessness, which can lead to further negative or disempowering emotions that keep you feeling stuck, that keep you feeling unconscious. These, of course, are all shadows. And I've talked many, many times about how important it is that we do our own shadow work, because our shadows will covertly operate and direct us, our thoughts, words, and deeds, from their shadows. And so these shadows are what really needs to be looked at and released, acknowledged, validated, and released. And so this energy of impatience that came in for me took me a moment or two, maybe a day, to recognize that this was an opportunity for me to look into a shadow, to see what was covertly operating from behind the scenes. I was clearly shown at this moment of consciousness that I needed to step into a place of patience. What is patience? Well, I think for a lot of us as kids, we're taught to be patient, to sit and be tight, sit tight. But that doesn't feel good when you're a kid. So you behave and you shut up and you stop complaining and you do whatever you're told, the socialization process, and you sit tight, trying to be patient. That's not what patience is. Patience is a joyful surrender, and it requires stepping away from our mind. It really requires letting go fully and trusting in a higher divine plan for our lives, letting go and allowing flow. That can be scary for a lot of people. So there are a lot of people struggling with this energy of impatience because they do not believe they could possibly let go and allow something greater than themselves, a greater divine order, to take over and create ease and grace in their lives. They don't even believe that's possible. So you can see how that might be a block for many people. So having been shown that I needed patience, I asked myself, what does my soul want to learn? You know, of course it wants to learn patience. It wants to learn joyful surrender. It wants to learn how to let go and let God, if you like. Patience. It's time we all stop just keeping busy to fill the void and avoid looking at our shadows. Space and time is a gift given to us. People might call it boredom, but it's a gift given to us to do the inner work of letting go and releasing trapped energies or trapped traumas, trapped emotions that we've held on to out of fear of letting go, of even looking at them because they're scary or uncomfortable, or we've cut ourselves off from them. So my old programming wanted me to fill this gap of external space and time that I was gifted, and some may call this boredom, as I mentioned, with seeking more work, with seeking more clients, with enrolling in a course, with further educating myself in something outside in the world. And I noticed, and you might notice this too, that now most of my small self is just my body and mind, not the true self. My small self's attempts at filling these voids with this busyness are now being divinely blocked in my life. And I'd be curious to hear if this is happening for you as well. What I'm finding is every attempt I make from my old programming, I get blocked. It's not in alignment, it's not in flow. I've made this declaration and dedicated the rest of my life to flow and surrender. And now I'm beautifully being blocked from trying to control things with my mind and my body. And I'm always coming back to the present and being shown you have to go in and do some work within. It's not about external work. So how do we even begin to joyfully surrender? Especially when you're in a state of impatience. Well, firstly, I think it's important that you do include an understanding of the importance of our breath. I'm sure you've all heard about the importance of breath work. It's almost become cliche with alternative health and healing and modalities. And I don't want to sound like I'm preaching the same message around and round, but I do want to emphasize the importance of breath, because breath is the most practical thing you can do immediately when you notice that you are feeling impatient, because breath brings you right back to this present moment, or an awareness of your true self, your eternal awareness, the soul having a human experience. Breath is that force between your true self and your body and your mind. It's that door between the unconscious and the conscious part of you. Breath will bring you right back to this moment. And so, yes, that is probably the first thing I would recommend, is take a big, deep breath, mindfully, slowly, deeply, intentionally, breathing in and letting go, and then repeating that. Stop that monkey mind from taking you in all sorts of directions with thoughts. Just be present. I like to imagine, when I'm feeling impatient, a turtle, a tortoise. I've actually got one. I can't show you because of the filter I've got here on the video, but I went and I ordered a tortoise. That's like a figurine that I keep on my desk. And this is a beautiful reminder for me. Slow and steady. There is no race. There's no need to feel impatient if there is no race, especially if there is no finish line. No external finish line. Now, I was shown that in a vision I had a few years ago. I was shown the head of a tortoise, and very clearly I was shown you must use this as your philosophy or your approach in everything you do from now on. Become conscious, slow and steady. Then you won't burn out. Then you won't overwhelm. Slow and steady. So that's my second advice for you if you're feeling impatient. Make it your highest priority to stop and be still throughout your day. And this is the root of becoming conscious. And that's why I set those little reminders on my phone. Just so I get into a new habit, a new hardwired way of being, where I stop regularly and come back to my true self, pure awareness. Come back to the direct communion and connection with Source, to receive wisdom, intuition, guidance, and intelligence to take the next step. You can't get it when you're stuck in busyness, trying to control the external world, unconscious, afraid to be with yourself in a moment because of your shadows. It takes courage to be in this moment with yourself, with everything, every energy that arises in this moment with yourself, and every energy that arises to talk to you, to show you something, to a hidden opportunity for healing when you are still. And that takes courage. And this allows your internal guidance system to come online. Most of us, for most of our lives, had no idea we had an internal guidance system. So it didn't come online. But use your emotions to navigate what needs healing within. And this same internal guidance system becomes your GPS for the external world. And then move into your heart. Move into your heart when you feel impatience. Recognize that you can only be in your mind, in your head, when you are feeling this energy of impatience. Because it requires beautiful imagination and storytelling about what the future has to be and how you have to achieve it. Your expectations and attachments to some future thing. That's what impatience is. So move from your head down into your heart. Put your hands on your heart. I talk about this a lot. Brings your consciousness down to this place in your body. And then experience through your own focused conscious attention, gratitude, presence. Gratitude will bring you into presence. How do we do that? Just think of 3 things or 3 people. I say 3 just to emphasize it if you have trouble. That bring you into a state of gratitude, appreciation, love, and compassion. And those feelings, those emotions will bring you right into a place of love and power. You cannot be in impatience in that state of mind when you are in gratitude within your heart space. And when you feel you are lacking something, you need X to be happy, which is pretty much what that powerlessness feeling is. You're frustrated, you're impatient because there's something that you've told yourself, an illusion that you've told yourself, a story and narrative that you need X, whatever it is, before you can be happy. And until then, you're going to feel this impatience. It's not true. It's a delusion. Okay? Recognize that what you're actually seeking is just a state of happiness. That impatience is you just want to feel good and you don't. You want to feel peace and you don't. Recognize that. Let's get to the true problem. So a state of mind, the state of peace, state of happiness that you're seeking is not something you can achieve from outside of yourself. It's in here. The perfect example was just before when I mentioned to get into a state of gratitude, of love, of compassion is to think of someone that you love and you immediately move into a new energy. This is the same. Okay. So when you want to feel happiness or peace or calm or joy, don't try and get it outside of yourself. It can only come from within you. And it manifests as a neural peptide, a brain chemical that will make you feel good. But it comes before that, is mind before matter. Before that external happiness manifests in whatever it needs to be, it has to have happened already. With mind and heart coherence. You have to be in your heart in gratitude, and your mind needs to feel that recognition of coherence, of love, of appreciation, compassion. And you will go into a harmonized state. And you will bring in that state of happiness that you thought you needed X to be happy from outside of you. You can achieve this in an instant. There's no external effort required. No more chasing the proverbial carrot and never feeling satiated as the old high achiever you might have been, or the old controller, or the old keeping busy person. So just bask in this energy when you do get to this place of gratitude with your hands on your heart, taking breaths to be present, thinking of what you're grateful for. Stay there in that energy. Stay as long as you can, as long as you can. This is the most important place you can be in this life experience. This is what's going to change the world around you and raise the consciousness of our planet. This is more powerful than anything you can do outside of yourself, especially staying busy. And this will transform your inner world, as within, so without, that beautiful Hermetic principle. So if you're feeling impatient, your goal is to face courageously, face your inner world that is screaming for your attention. There is energy in there. Face your shadows. Be still. Allow them to come out. Stop being busy to avoid them. Acknowledge them. Allow them to be seen. Imagine the little child that you were. That part of you was fragmented. Stop and acknowledge that child has been screaming for your attention, probably your whole life. And this impatience, this energy that's coming out, is showing you this hidden opportunity to heal. So you can release that finally, that energy, in a non-judgmental way, in a loving way. Just as a loving parent would look after a really beautiful child, as we all are. So otherwise, if you really ignore this and try and just stay busy when you're frustrated and angry and impatient, if you continue on the way you have, the way we've been taught, you risk going offline within a frenzy of busyness. You miss out on another chance to heal and integrate a part of you that has been covertly operating and directing your thoughts, words, and deeds in disempowering ways. So let go of this illusion of FOMO, fear of missing out, that comes with impatience. What's the point of external busyness if you are unconscious the whole time? Do you really want to live your life busy but unconscious? You're certainly missing out if you allow FOMO to keep you distracted from your own inner healing. When you feel impatient, stay in your heart. Be brave and face your shadows within the quiet space and time that you've been gifted. We are learning to utilize our higher senses and our perception. What a gift. This is a very important time. We don't do that in the outside world. We do that within. It's more subtle and less aggressive and controlling, this new way of being in love and flow and power. There is much taking place within you. Just be patient towards yourself. Patience. This is what we're learning. A new energy, a new way of being, not doing. Expect nothing. Let's stop with these attachments to expectations of what we're trying to achieve, produce, and do. Let go of your personal agenda. Just allow the flow of the divine in your life. You can't do that if you're unconscious and busy. You have to be still, regularly coming back to who you are. Pure loving awareness. You'll feel that peace and that bliss, and you won't want to try and go back to the old self anymore. Disconnect regularly from the simulation, from the matrix. Take off that headset. That's what I mean by being still throughout the day and remembering who you are. Allow that internal guidance system to come online. Get into a frequency of play. It's not all about survival. That's a lie. Create more frequencies of love and joy in your life. And you might like to try also, this is something I did a couple of years ago and it's still running, appreciation days. And this is where you set in your calendar maybe once a month or once every couple of months, a day where you specifically stop to appreciate the last year of what you've achieved and created in your life in that area. So I've got a different day every couple of months. I've got fun and play. I've got finances. I've got career and mission. I have relationships and my physical health, my spiritual routine and growth. You make up exactly what you would like to stop and appreciate in your life and put it in your calendar and share it with someone. Because as we know, when we share something, that frequency becomes stronger, more powerful. But the important part here is the antidote to impatience, anger, frustration is patience, gratitude, love, presence, stillness, and remembering who you really are. And allowing flow, letting go. So if this message does resonate with you, please like, subscribe, and share. And have a beautiful day. Patiently. See ya.